homegrown filmmakers? Welcome to How to Write Strong Dialogue, Part 3. So the last couple of weeks we've been talking about how to write dialogue, and if you haven't seen those videos, click the link somewhere up above and it'll take you directly to the first video so you can catch up with the conversation so far. So just as a quick refresher, last week we talked about the first piece of a conflict-based dialogue scene, which is motivation. Now, once you've figured out your character's motivations and goals for the conversation, there's the next step. Figuring out how the characters go about getting what they want, otherwise known as character tactics. Now, I didn't come up with this stuff on my own. I first learned about character tactics from Aaron Sorkin, the Wizard of Dialogue, and they apply to all of storytelling, not just dialogue. If you want to learn more about character tactics, here's a video you can go check out. But here's the basics of character tactics as they apply to dialogue. Character tactics are decided by each character's personality. If you have a harsh, demanding character, then their tactic is probably threatening or frightening people to get what they want. If you have a sleazy, duplicitous character, then their tactic is to manipulate people to get what they want. If you have a silver-tongued, charismatic character, then their tactic is to charm people to get what they want. Character tactics are as varied as character motivations, and one character can have different tactics for different situations and relationships. Take the ringleader of pretty much any kids movie, for example. Their tactic is usually to take charge and direct others to get what they want. But put them in a scene with adults and their tactics could be completely different. Let's go back to that scene from The Princess Bride that we were watching last episode. Buttercup's goal is to get the man in black to confess to killing Wesley. How does she go about accomplishing that goal?
I know who you are. You're the dread pirate Roberts. Admit it. You can die slowly, cut into 1,000 pieces. On the high seas, your ship attacked. The dread pirate Roberts never takes prisoners. You mocked my pain. What am I? You mocked me once. Never do it again. I died that day.
So her tactic is to aggressively accuse him and demand the truth. So what about Wesley? He doesn't want to reveal himself to the woman who he thinks betrayed him, but he wants to hear her confession. So he has to find a way to prompt that confession without directly asking her.
I remember this farm boy of yours, I think.
His tactic is to tell his story in third person and bring it to a point where he can start accusing her.
You should bless me for destroying him before he found out what you really are.
And what am I?
Faithfulness he talked of, madam. Your enduring faithfulness. Now tell me truly, when you found out he was gone, did you get engaged to your prince at the same hour, or did you wait a whole week out of respect for the dead?
Character tactics reveal who the characters are and what they're feeling. Both Buttercup and Wesley are angry in this scene, but they handle that anger differently. We learn that Buttercup is straightforward and honest, and Wesley is not. Instead of just telling her who he is and confronting her, he tries to push the conversation to where he wants it to go in order to get what he wants. So there's three pieces to character tactics. Character tactics come from personality and upbringing, so they're deeply rooted in who these characters are. Are they extroverted or introverted? Opinionated or laid back? Fight or flight? What are their strengths or weaknesses? Are they prideful or insecure? Their dialogue should reflect who they are. Character tactics also depend on the relationship between the characters. Are they on equal standing, like best friends or boyfriend-girlfriend, or unequal, like boss-employee or parent-child or teacher-student? How well do they know each other? How much do they care about each other? And lastly, character tactics are driven by the emotional or mental state of the characters, which is driven by where they are in the story. If we look at the scene from the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie again, we can see that Will is desperate in this scene. When contrasted with an earlier scene, we can see that his tactics completely change. Here, he is deferent and contained, and then here...
That's not good enough!
In life, the more emotional or desperate a situation, the more real people become. So there's a level of what are your characters' tactics when they're comfortable, or when they're just being socially correct, and what are they really like when things get desperate. And because we're dealing with stories, and stories have arcs where the further you get into the story, the more desperate things become, it's a logical jump that the further you will get into the story, the more true to character your character tactics become. Figuring out character tactics is a lot of just getting to know your characters. This is what those character questionnaires are for. The ones where they ask, what is your character like when they're happy? What is your character like when they're scared? If you've done a good job fleshing out your characters, then you don't have to do all the work of figuring out all the details of the character tactics for each dialogue scene. It should already be there, and all you have to do is ask, how would this character act or react in this situation? Well, that's all I have for you guys this week. As always, thank you so much for sticking around to watch these videos. Your support means a lot to me. I hope this episode was helpful in wrapping your brain around dialogue. Next week, I'll be sharing the last dialogue episode talking about the final piece of a strong dialogue scene. I'm Annie Pulling Sweat, and I'm a homegrown filmmaker. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.